Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Subos page 99, in which we have a concept called Onah, that when it comes to movable items, we have a very strict amount that a person is allowed to sell those items for. And even though you can profit, one is not able to sell with what's called Onah. If you sell an item which is above 1/6 of its value, in that situation we say that the sale is not valid, because the person who you sold it to may not have realized that this is so overpriced, and they probably wouldn't have purchased it so much more than its market value, and therefore because of that it ends up being retroactively not a sale. However, there is an exception to this. When it comes to land, there is no onah when it comes to land. Therefore, if you have a piece of property, even if it's assessed for, let's say, $1 million, and it ends up being sold for much more or much less, we still say it is a good sale. It's a good transaction, and there cannot be any buyer's remorse in wanting to get your money back. Now, the Talmud here tells us, if, let's say, you own property and you wish to sell it, let's say it's $1 million, and you decide to sell it for $500,000. So you're going to take a huge loss. A person is allowed to do that because it's your property, and also, again, there's no concept of onah. Now, even though that makes sense because you're the one that's doing it, and therefore you're the one making that decision, what happens if you hire an agent to sell your land? And it turns out that the agent takes your land, even though it was really valued for $1 million, and they sold it for only $500,000. So one could say, well, maybe that is all right. Maybe it's a good deal. It's a good transaction because of this concept that there is no onah when it comes to land. And on this we have a very famous concept that's said many, many times throughout the Talmud. And that is that the principal, the person who chose this agent, can say, this is not acceptable because I only hired you for you to help me. I only hired you to make my life easier and for me to be able to make a profit, for you to be able to at least sell my property at fair market value. However, I did not appoint you to be my agent to harm me, to cause me a financial loss. So therefore, even though it's true, when it comes to land could be sold at a higher or lower price. However, when it comes to an agent, we say that your job is to do what is in the best interest of the person who appointed you or who hired you. And if for whatever reason you end up selling it for less than its value, it will not be considered to be a valid sale. And of course, from this we can understand that when a person is doing someone else's bidding, when someone asks you to do someone a favor, you do something for someone, so we should apply this principle that obviously they only are asking you to do it because they're hoping that you're going to help them and you're not going to be hurting them. However, if for whatever reason you're asked to do a particular task and it ends up that you don't do a good job doing it, and it ends up just being a disaster, so the person can say, you know what, I wish I never had offered or asked you to work for me. And therefore, because of that, according to Jewish law, that person legally is not considered to be an agent. Because once a person accepts a responsibility to help another person, when a person takes upon themselves a role, which we can also include when it comes to being an employee, if you decide to work and you're being compensated, your job is to be able to help that person. Your job is to do your best to make that person's business or that person's situation better. And if you don't do that, then unfortunately that individual should not be an agent anymore.